In other videos, I may have said that the dollar was dying, but that's not entirely true. The dollar isn't dying. It's being replaced on purpose. Not by China, not by Russia, not by crypto-anarchists, but by the very people who made the dollar king. They've done this before. They'll do it again. And you're already holding the wrong kind of money. In the past, they convinced the world to ditch gold. Then they said trust the dollar. Now, they want you to trust something even more abstract. A digital dollar that doesn't even come from the government. It's not a conspiracy. It's a strategy. You're watching a financial coup happen in slow motion. Stablecoins aren't just another crypto. They are a tool designed to erase debt, keep control, and start a new game where the house always wins. They look safe. They feel convenient. They promise to be backed one with dollars. But the game behind them is anything but equal. Most people won't notice what's happening. They'll think the dollar just evolved. They won't ask who did it or why, but you're here. And this is the passive path, where we don't just chase money. We learn how money moves. Because when money changes form, fortunes are made or lost. And the worst place to be is on the wrong side of a quiet revolution. Let's follow the trail. It doesn't start with Bitcoin. It starts with a lie one told 50 years ago. Back then, they said gold is no longer money. Today, they are saying the dollar is no longer enough. And they are doing it again without telling you. This isn't fear. This is awareness. This is understanding how money is rewritten. Stay with me. What comes next will change how you think about cash, crypto, and your own freedom. Some say the dollar is collapsing. Others say it's still the strongest currency in the world. They are both wrong, because the truth sits behind the debate. One side watches inflation rise and claims the dollar is doomed. They point to national debt, to endless money printing, to wars that keep draining the treasury. The other side trusts the old rules. They say global reserves are still in dollars, that nations still buy US bonds, that no other currency has the trust to take over. But here's the trick. You're being distracted by the surface. The real shift is happening underneath. And both sides are right because that's how it was planned. When the dollar weakens, panic spreads. People search for an exit. But what if the exit was pre-built? Not gold, not the euro, not the yuan, but a new kind of dollar dressed differently. Something still pegged to the US financial system. Something digital, trackable, controllable. Something that solves the problem of trust by shifting it. From government promises to private platforms. From central banks to stable coins. And here's what matters. This isn't just about money. It's about permission. If dollars disappear, but stable coins rise in their place, did anything really change? Yes, control did. Power did. Your freedom to transact might too. That's the real swap. Not just currency, but control of the currency. And like always, it begins slowly. One use case at a time. One crisis at a time. One regulation at a time. Until people don't notice they've moved from money to a token. From ownership to access. From freedom to filters. Most won't care. They'll just want faster transfers, lower fees, slicker apps. But when something seems more convenient, ask what you're giving up, because the ones who print the money rarely play fair. They just upgrade the system and leave you behind if you don't adapt. Do you like this personality? Gold used to be money. People trusted it because they could hold it. It was heavy, real, tangible. You could bite it if you wanted. Then came paper. Not just any paper, but US dollars. Each one promised to be backed by gold. You could swap it at any time. That made the paper valuable. But habits change. People got used to using dollars. They stopped trading gold. They trusted the paper more than the metal. So the government did what governments do. They removed the gold. The dollar stayed. People didn't protest because they were already hooked. What was once backed by gold became backed by trust. That trust was never real. It was just convenience. And once convenience takes over, people stop asking questions. The dollar became the new global standard. Not because it was honest, but because everyone else was playing the same game. And now it's happening again. This time with stable coins. They are digital, fast, backed by dollars, or so they say. They don't get wet. They can't be stolen from your pocket. You don't carry them, you access them. And just like before, they start with trust. They say every stable coin equals $1. But just like gold disappeared from the dollar will disappear from the stable coin. It's a rinse and repeat. Hook people in. Make it feel safe. Then quietly remove the foundation. It happened in 1971 when the gold standard ended. It's happening now with digital currencies. But this time, the shift is faster. There are no physical bills to hold onto, no vaults to run to, just numbers on a screen. And when the screen changes, so does your wealth, and maybe your freedom with it. The new king isn't gold. It isn't the dollar. It's belief digitized, tokenized, and regulated. And just like that, a new currency is born, not through force, but through habit, through routine, through silence. Bitcoin wasn't the threat. It was the bait, the test case, the training wheels for a new financial order. At first, governments laughed at it. They called it a scam, a bubble, a toy for nerds and criminals. But they were watching. They saw something powerful. A currency without borders, without permission, without banks. People sent money anywhere. No middlemen, no delays, no fees. That terrified the system. But it also inspired it. Instead of banning it, they boxed it in. They called it an asset, not a currency. They taxed it. They tracked it. And they created futures markets to tame it. Bitcoin became legal, but not free. It was investment grade, not transaction ready. Too volatile for buying coffee. Too unstable to be a currency. So they offered a solution. Stable coins. These weren't wild like Bitcoin. They stayed tied to the dollar. One coin equals $1. No swings. No shocks. People felt safe. They could trade, invest, and send money instantly. No need to wait 3 days for a wire. No need to pay $20 for a transfer. It looked like progress, but it was actually stage 2. Bitcoin created the demand. Stablecoins offered the supply. Now people had a digital dollar but without the dollar. It moved faster, cost less, felt modern, but it came with something else. It came with tracking, with terms and conditions, with centralized control. And the system smiled, because this was the plan. They let Bitcoin build the runway, then rolled in the jet they always wanted, fully visible, fully programmable, and backed by you. You provide the dollars. They mint the coins. You get speed. They get control. It's not about crypto. It's about reshaping the way you use money, where it goes, who sees it, and who can shut it off. Stable coins look harmless. Digital dollars, one-to-one, always redeemable, no surprises. That's what they say. But the structure underneath tells a different story. To create one stablecoin, a company must hold one real dollar, usually in the form of cash or US government bonds. That sounds safe, but here's the twist. Those bonds are debt, promises the government makes to pay later. So when you trade your money for stablecoin, you're not just getting a digital token, you're funding US debt. You're giving the government money without them asking. In the past, the US had to convince the world to buy its bonds. Now, stablecoin issuers do it automatically. And you're the one supplying the dollars. You give them $10,000. They give you 10,000 tokens. They buy 10,000 in bonds. You feel like you still own the money. But they are holding the real thing. They earn interest. You don't. You get speed. They get yield. This setup means the US no longer needs foreign lenders. It doesn't matter if China stops buying bonds. It doesn't matter if Japan pulls out. As long as you keep using stablecoins, you're keeping the debt machine running. It's brilliant. It's invisible. And it's working. Debt becomes money. Money becomes code. Code becomes control. And this time, there's no need to print. No need for inflation. No need to ask for loans. Just tokenize what already exists. The debt doesn't disappear. It just changes form. And while you're busy spending digital coins, they are using your dollars to pay themselves back. It's not magic. It's math. And the system always balances in their favor. Your coins may say dollar, but behind them are promises. And promises can break, especially when no one reads the fine print. So what does this mean for you, for your savings, for your future? You've seen the shift. You've seen how gold was replaced by dollars and how dollars are now being replaced by stable coins quietly, without a vote, without a fight. The question is, what can you actually do about it? First, don't hold what they are phasing out. If the system is moving toward tokenized money, don't be the one holding paper when the lights go out. Second, understand the game. Bitcoin was never the end goal. It was the warm-up, the experiment, the attention grabber. Stablecoins are the execution. That's where control happens. That's where the rules are written. So diversify, not just across assets, but across systems. Own some Bitcoin, not to get rich, but to have an exit, an off-ramp, a way to move value without permission. Keep some cash, not because it will grow, but because cash buys privacy. And sometimes silence. Look at real assets, land, tools, skills, the kind of things that don't vanish when an app shuts down. And learn to read charts, not as magic, but as footprints. Big money leaves trails. Watch where it goes. Follow the volume, not the noise. If you see Bitcoin consolidating with high volume, that's not noise. That's building pressure. If you see stablecoin usage climbing, that's not hype. That's infrastructure. You don't need to guess the top or call the bottom. You just need to understand when the wind is changing, and this wind is shifting fast. You don't need to panic. You need to prepare. Build streams of income that aren't tied to a single platform. Create buffers, not just financial ones, but informational ones, because when the next shift hits, you'll want to already be moving, not standing still with questions. The passive path exists for this reason: to see the patterns before they become headlines, to move when others are still watching, to build when others wait. The world is not ending, but the version you knew is wrapping up. A new one is taking shape, and your role in it is still open. Choose it. Don't wait for it to be assigned. If this gave you clarity, subscribe for more. Like the video and drop your thoughts below. This is the passive path, where freedom is built, not bought. You've just seen how the financial system is shifting under our feet, not in chaos, but in design. Not in protest, but in quiet code. The dollar isn't dying. It's being replaced. And the replacement is already in your apps, your wallets, and your habits. What you do with this knowledge is up to you. You can ignore it. or you can position yourself ahead of it. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them today. This is the passive path, where we prepare before it's urgent and act before it's obvious. Good luck on your journey. Feel free to explore more videos on the channel, and I'll see you in the next